Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the T.I.N.T podcast. T.I.N.T stands for There Is No Template, T.I.N.T. And what that means is something that we'll say one day, but not today.
We'll explain it sometime.
Yeah, we'll explain it sometime. You guys speak into the mic.
We'll explain it at some point in time.
There you go. So basically, we've upgraded, and
is that what we did?
a little bit,
sure?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in a new location. We got some good sound equipment, and we're going to continue to upgrade. And I just want to say this, we've always wanted to entertain people. We've come up with ideas like, we've written movie scripts, we've written TV show pilots, and we have an awesome TV show idea right now, but we don't know anyone. So nobody's going to, give us anything. So what we wanted to do is do a podcast. And here's the thing. To do like a solid podcast, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. Okay, you got to invest money in that. And for me, it was like, okay, are we going to do this? What if nobody cares? You know what I mean? Like, we put money into this, and
Which
then,
is what's going to happen.
Well,
nobody's going to watch
here's the
it.
thing.
They're going to watch.
So-
Nobody's
nobody's going to care.
going to give a
Yeah, we're trying not to swear.
an S.
As
Nobody's
much.
going to. We cannot
Nobody's
swear.
going to give an
because-
S.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This podcast now is going to go out on all the podcast
All the major
channels.
stuff.
We're putting it out there. So for people who are new, welcome.
Yeah.
And this is a comedic podcast where we talk about news, news topics, big stories if we have to. But I like to talk about stuff that kind of slips through the cracks. And then we give our comedic take on it. We tell personal stories and try to entertain you guys and
Which apparently my
make you
sister
guys
hates.
laugh.
Remember, my sister said, like, oh, I like your stuff about the news and stuff, but when you start talking about yourselves and your life, yeah, it gets really boring, which is nice.
Her opinion.
Thank you.
But basically, we have 12 episodes that are on YouTube already. So if this is the first you're hearing of this, you can watch that. You can go to YouTube and look up the T.I.N.T podcast, and you'll see the
sound
video.
quality, the video quality. It's all
garbage.
going to be garbage.
Yeah, it's
and
terrible.
You're going to hate us, and you're going to be like, why are they even doing this? And then you're going to come here and be like, holy cow, like, they really do care about this audience.
Well, and that's the thing. I'll tell you.
theirs.
I'll tell you this because for me, I wanted to see like what kind of response we would get.
Sure, of course.
And just to see if people would care. And so it basically originally was just a camera and a crazy ass couch,
Yeah.
and then us two just talking crazy. And so the first two views are over, or the first two videos are over 1,000. The
Yeah,
third
but
one's over 900. The
let's
fourth
be
one's
honest.
approaching 1,000.
But let's be honest, those are not the first videos. We recorded about like 10 videos.
Oh, yeah, we have
worth of
lost
stuff.
episodes.
We have lost episodes where the sound is so terrible. The sound is so god awful that we literally could not put it out because there is so much static underneath that it
The
just
mic we were using was broken, and we didn't even know it.
that was the problem. We didn't realize that
Yeah.
that microphone was
Garbage.
completely broken.
So, but what I'm trying to say is, in the first, we promoted it through friends and family, and people responded very well. And those are like all the
appreciate
first few, 4 episodes are all like in the thousands or 1,000 and approaching. But then it fell off, and that's what I wanted to see, what our average kind of would
Yeah,
be.
but the thing was, nobody knows who. It's not like we have any reason for people like to tune in.
We're
It's
two
not like-
nobodies.
no, we're two nobodies. The world hates us.
Yeah.
And when you put in like T.I.N.T, There Is No Template podcast, it sends you to like animal videos. It's like
Just
there
put
is
in-
no reason
Just
we're
put
going
in
to send
T.I.N.T
you.
podcast.
There's no
That's what I
reason
do.
we're whatever, but it's like, YouTube is like, there is no way we're sending these people to Doug and Mark. They're not getting this view.
Oh yeah, by the way, I should say my name is Doug. What's your name?
My name is Mark.
Yeah, so we're your
and
hosts.
We're your hosts.
But what I was going to say is that, so after the viewership kind of fell off, and we kind of saw an average
a reality of what
we're actually getting from viewers. We're in like 400, 350, somewhere around there. So
not horrible. There's
that's what I was going to say.
That's more people than I've probably met in my lifetime. Like face to face.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's
I've
a lot of people.
400 people, but not like 400 people.
It's clearly
like, hey,
not.
How you doing?
It's clearly not great. It's not even good.
It's not good.
But you know what it is? It's not bad.
It's not god awful.
It's not bad. So for that, literally for you guys, we have decided to upgrade and make our podcast as good as it can be, and we're going to continue to upgrade.
Better sound
and just
better optics,
stay tuned.
Probably a sign that even says something, which I promised I wouldn't say, but yet
you blew it.
I blew it.
So guys, stay tuned. For those of you that might be new, this is a comedic podcast, like I said, and we get into news topics and personal stories, and let's get going, man. Let's get going.
I love how you're like, this is a comedic podcast because, they won't be able to tell.
No. I have to.
They're not.
I have to tell them. I have to tell the people that.
They're never going to figure that out.
There are people that be like, oh, wait, so this is... it's supposed to be funny. Oh, okay, now I get it. Now I see. They're not just, insane idiots. They're actually trying to be funny. So I'm going to tell you this right now, homeboy. This is going to be a long episode.
It's going to be an episode.
We've been off for a couple weeks. We've been upgrading this whole thing, and so we're here now, and we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
Let's get it cracking. What are we doing first?
All right.
What are we doing?
Let's talk about the coronavirus.
Oh, the coronavirus.
Do you want to start off on that, or should I?
You go ahead and start. I've been talking for a while.
All right. So the coronavirus is
a virus.
It is a virus. The reason, do you know the reason it's called the coronavirus?
Oh, no.
Is because where it binds to cells, it has like these attachment points. It has like, I guess, certain molecules that attach, and they're in sort of a round shape, like a crown. That's the reason it's called the coronavirus, but pretty much like all viruses have those attachment points where they can attach to certain molecules and to certain, but apparently this virus like broke out in China, and there was this Chinese doctor was like, this is going to be serious, and the Chinese state is like, shut up, stay quiet. Let this blow over.
Is that guy dead now?
That guy is dead now.
Oh.
That guy is dead.
How did I guess?
But, so China was like, hey, let's everybody be quiet. This is a communist China. We're not going to, we're not going to
By the way, who the hell knows what's going on in China?
Nobody.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
They monitor their internet. They can't even
do everything.
Literally.
They control every aspect.
It's crazy.
Or as much as they is possible, they control every aspect of that society. And that's the reason, there was so much uproar in Hong Kong when they said, oh, well, we'll be able to extradite anybody into China. So let's say you commit some sort of offense of free speech. You are free to be extradited to China for basically any reason. So that was that whole umbrella uprising. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but the coronavirus.
Well,
Let's get back to the coronavirus.
Yeah. You'll find, for you new viewers, we bounce back and forth. We're literally all over the place. But coronavirus.
The coronavirus, which is insanely infective.
So they tell us.
No, it's fairly reasonable to assume because it's an influenza strain. So any moisture or anything you cough out is floating around in the air and can be absorbed by another person.
Yep.
And as long as it lands on somewhere where there's like moisture or whatever, it can get absorbed. If there's a pore large enough, because these things are fairly small, viruses are very tiny, and so there is a huge difference in the United States between what our government officials in the White House said, which is like there's going to be about 14 cases and everything's going to be cool, and what the CDC said, which is there's going to be between 40 and 70% of people in the United States contracting this illness. So there's a huge difference between 14 people and somewhere between 150 and like 200 million.
Slight difference.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So then they say this came from like a fish market or something to do
Actually,
with.
probably bats.
Yeah, and you know what they eat out there?
What's that?
Bat soup. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they just take a bat and just throw it right in a bowl of soup, and they just eat that.
Disgusting.
So I don't think that you should. A bat is a rodent with wings. No.
You know,
I mean, Batman's cool, but like
that's what I mean. Bruce Wayne was traveling through China, and there was just like a tear in his eye. He was watching this guy just with a wing in his bowl and just like slurping it up, and he was not.
That's not how you treat bats.
No, never.
No, don't eat bat soup, and then we won't have a coronavirus. I guess. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's crazy.
No, but there's like 400 strains of coronavirus
but
in
look,
like the average bat. So like, the fact that one of them jumped from the bat to us, I mean, that's not something that should be very surprising when they're just like loaded with coronavirus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then somebody's like, well, hey, what's the worst that can happen? We'll make a soup out of this thing. And,
but look,
but
it's like,
very
like
bad things can happen.
They do this. How many times have they run this script? Like literally, some kind of illness, some kind of flu. Like they had SARS, they had the avian, they had swine. No, you wait a second. They had MERS, they had Ebola, they had Zika, Ebola again, and now Corona. And it's just,
It all
what happened to all that other shit?
It all depends on how infectious it is, and it depends on our healthcare systems and our government systems to be able to contain this and to quarantine this. Because when the Spanish flu went through the United States, like millions of people died. And what they thought at first, so it happened like late in the winter, and then and then summer came, and so like people weren't in direct contact in small spaces with each other.
Well, I mean, also these flus, they usually dissipate when the weather gets nice.
Well, that's what happened, and that's what happened. Except
that's what's going to happen again.
Except that following year, when it got colder again, the virus kicked in, and that's when the majority of people died, because once you're in close proximity with somebody in like a small space, you're not hanging out outside, there is much easier way for the transmission of this disease to happen, and it is extremely infectious. It is not like Ebola or other diseases where you have to like come in contact with body fluid or whatever. Like when you sneeze or when you cough or anything, you expel it into the air, which I've been, I guess, doing. There's a lot of spittle coming out of my mouth. But,
Jesus Christ.
But I've been spreading the coronavirus left and right here.
Now
you
he
don't
tells
know
me.
I'm sick, but
Now he tells me.
But it's something that is extremely contagious. It is not like AIDS or like or MERS where you have to like actually.
I
have
understand,
the
but like,
bacterial.
but doesn't it like just pass through you as just like basically a flu, like a high level flu? Because when you look at the numbers, because now they're saying all these people are dying, but if you look at the stats from that, it's like old people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I think that it's actually kind of strange that
So it's kind of like they're fear mongering.
They are fear mongering in a way, but you have to understand that a 2% loss of life is a lot higher than like a 0.1% with the regular flu. You know what I mean?
Sure. How many people did they say died in China?
A few thousand.
I thought it was like 2,000.
Something like that.
How many billions of people are there in China?
Like 700 billion.
So, they're just packing them in the drawers. So
they didn't.
My point is,
phase them. It didn't, but
my point is the numbers in relation to the grand scheme
Chinese
of things.
people?
The grand scheme of things, it's not
Didn't
that
phase 'em.
crazy. It's not that crazy.
We're still gonna have chop suey
and bat soup.
Bat soup.
Thank God.
But did you see the video of where they went to like Wuhan and they were like, they just put speakers out into like the streets and they're like, at first they're like, you can come out once a week to do your and then eventually it was like, no, please just don't come out at all. Just stay in your houses. And there's like tons of videos for like, you know, just people in their houses trying to find ways to entertain themselves.
Dude, I've seen some weird videos. I've seen videos where there's like a bunch of people that are quarantined that allegedly have the coronavirus and they're all dancing. Did you see that? They're all like doing the hokey pokey together.
No, but there's a lot of...
They're like dancing in step.
Well, in Vietnam, they have a whole song.
Well, hold on. Then I saw videos where they were like extracting people from their houses. They were like literally, yeah. Look at that.
You're just making that up.
I'm just making it up. And then I saw videos where they got a camera guy who's like set up, right? Sure. And it was right outside of a hospital. It looks like an emergency room.
Sure.
And then the people who are there's like doctors are wearing their doctor stuff with the masks and the gowns, whatever. And they're like running, they're sprinting, and they're rushing this dude, right past the camera. And as soon as they pass the camera, they all stop and slow down, and they just like walk.
I know you have your whole conspiracy theory nonsense, but I don't know that
weird.
This is fake. I don't know that people dying in hospitals is fake. You know what I mean? They're sick.
But how do you know?
But listen, the truth is...
Did you go to the hospitals and register these people dead from coronavirus?
Maybe the whole world lies to us all the time. But
of course it does.
Maybe, just maybe, there is this disease that is going to spread, but possibly it's not going to be as god-awful as we think. If you are elderly or you are young or you have a pre-existing condition, then
you might be bad for you.
Yeah, it might be bad. But if you're a healthy person... you're going to be sick for a few days with a very bad flu. It's going to be a bad flu.
Tough flu.
But
drink your orange juice.
Yeah, drink orange juice. Take your
eat your soup.
Theraflu. Eat some soup. And
do you eat soup?
What is that? Yeah, what is that stuff called? Airborne? Remember Airborne?
Yeah.
You like take that stuff on a plane and it does absolutely nothing?
Yeah. Pop one of those. You'll be fine. You're going to be all good. So unless you have some more to add to this, I kind of want to stay on the coronavirus, but I wanted to go to the next.
All right,
step.
let me say one last thing about the coronavirus.
Yes,
because I think that the problem with the coronavirus and with future epidemics and pandemics to come is going to be the way that our national healthcare system and the way that Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, is able to mobilize and to move on this thing. Very recently, the last case of Ebola, I can't remember what country it was, Nigeria. I don't want to say the wrong country, but they just had their last case of Ebola, and the person came out, raised their hands, they were cured. It was the last confirmed case of Ebola in that country. And they did a really great job of containing the disease. The whole point for this outbreak is how we're going to adapt. When people, buy and hoard a whole bunch of masks and think that's what's going to save them, that's not the reality of the situation.
And I heard that the masks aren't even for preventing getting it. It's supposedly for preventing spreading it.
That is what it's for, because
so if you don't have it, you don't need a mask.
Because the coronavirus is super, super tiny, and if it's floating in the air, you're going to breathe it in. If you're breathing out moisture, it'll get stuck in the mask because it's stuck within the moisture in the mask. But if it's like a random virus floating in the air, you're getting it. You're going to die. All I have to say is the coronavirus is coming. You're going to die.
Yeah, we're all going to die.
That is...
in 5 to 6 weeks.
That's a T.I.N.T.
Guarantee. In 5 to 6 weeks when nobody is even talking about this shit anymore.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. We're all going down.
We're all going to die. It's going to be like, that show, The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I know of that show.
It's a good show.
It was. All right, so I want to stay on the coronavirus.
Except you're going to go into...
For the next few minutes. But
no.
here, okay, so let me say this. Here's the thing.
I'm a little scared of what's about to happen.
I've heard from people that I know that have told other people.
Donald Trump. I heard people say
fake news, huge.
People talking about things,
No.
People are saying.
Shh. I've heard from people when they have told
Who are these people?
other people about, our podcast. They've been like, "Oh, check it out. It's a conspiracy podcast." Well, here's the thing.
Who said that?
No, it's not.
Who said that?
Some people that I know. Okay? And they've said, I'm not going to
we're gonna have to hunt them down.
I'm not going to rat them out to you. What are you, nuts?
You're going to have to tell me.
So they said it's a conspiracy podcast, but it's not at all. But I do get the misunderstanding because
he's the conspiracy
theorist.
I'm
a conspiracy
guy.
One. He's the system puppet, and we meet in the middle. Okay, so this is not a conspiracy podcast.
It's not strictly a conspiracy. It's 90% conspiracy, and then there's like the 10% of clarity
with your misinformation
that I bring out, and I'm like, no, this is nonsense. He's probably crazy.
Fake news. So, yeah, I want to make that clear. This is not a conspiracy podcast. By the way,
no, the conspiracy podcast is coming.
Oh,
and
it's coming.
Going to be loop-de-doo.
It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be me. And I have another co-host, so we're going to do this thing, but I'll let you know when that happens. But
are you going to be filming in this studio?
No. Maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
There's like a 90% chance that's going to happen.
Probably.
Okay. Go ahead.
So anyways, that said, this is not a conspiracy podcast. This next segment is going to be hardcore conspiracy. Okay?
Unreal.
We're going to get into it right now because here's what's weird.
Can I say one thing before you go on? I don't believe any of this. I think he's crazy. I almost swore there because that's how crazy I think he is. But go ahead.
That's you being triggered. That's you being triggered.
I'm triggered. I need a safe space. Can you hug me?
No. Okay. So it's like any other big story in the news. Literally no big story in the news can happen without there being some kind of weird stuff connected and conspiracy stuff. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
and I
think that's
odd.
People like you go on the internet and they make up lies, and then you read them and you're like, well, this has got to be the truth.
Yeah, lies, you say?
Yeah, lies.
Yeah, you're an idiot. They're not lies. It just shows your ignorance.
Okay,
so here's what happened on October 18th of 2019. Well before this coronavirus outbreak, Bill and Melinda Gates had something called Event 201, and they simulated an outbreak of a zoonotic coronavirus transmitted from bats to pigs to people. It started in Brazil to South America, goes to Portugal and the U.S. and China. And the scenario ends at 18 months with 65 million people dead. So before this even hit, Bill and Melinda Gates were like, oh, yeah, we're going to simulate this whole coronavirus thing just out of the blue, right? Okay, that's kind of strange. Then they call it has a new name. They call it coronavirus, but they also call it, what's that? COVID-19. Yes?
It's just a shortening of the name. That's coronavirus disease number 19.
COVID-19. So then... now we get into some weird stuff where we have Dean Koontz had a 1981 novel called The Eyes of Darkness. Have you heard of this?
Well,
did you hear of this?
I don't know, but that's proof positive of some kind of thing.
No, you do know whether you heard of this or not.
I don't. I've never heard of it.
Okay. So in this 1981 novel, he has a virus that breaks out in Wuhan.
No way.
Come on, baby boy. It's all lies, right? It's all lies and nonsense.
Why
yeah.
Is it Wuhan? Oh, maybe because Wuhan is like the industrial district and where everything gets made. So maybe that's why he said that.
Yeah, of course. It's all just a coincidence. Yeah, so then. No,
it's actually not a coincidence. He did his research.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But so from what I saw, back in the day, he had it called the Gorky 400. Because it was originally in Russia.
Oh, Gorky Park.
So in 1989...
remember that song, Gorky Park?
Yes.
Scorpions?
Yes, Scorpions. In 1989, he changed it to Wuhan, China.
Oh.
Why?
because that's the year the Soviet Union broke up. And he was like, wait a second, let me do something.
Yeah. Me as an author, I actually give a crap, and now I got to change it to Wuhan, China,
a real
instead of keeping it in whatever. All right, so now we're going to get into something.
Real stuff.
Now we're going to get into a little something that's called gematria.
Is it called gematria, gematria?
People have gone back and forth. I've heard both, but
gematria.
I'm pretty certain.
I think it's gematria en français.
No. I'm pretty certain that it's gematria.
Gematria.
Now, I've talked about this on the podcast before.
It sounds so Chicago. Gematria.
Gematria. I talked about this on the podcast before when we did the episode right after Kobe Bryant passed away, quote unquote.
Or was murdered by the secret conspiracy of Illuminati who were about to take over the world?
Yes. So, so now, for new viewers, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what gematria is, okay? So that's basically the ancient Hebrew coding of letters into numbers. So A equals 1. This is the alphabetical code, okay? A equals 1, B is 2, C is 3. Goes all the way to Z. Z is 26. Now there's a reverse alphabetical where Z is 1, Y is 2, X is 3, all the way to A is now 26. By the way, all of this that I'm going to talk about, I learned from watching this guy on YouTube. His name is Zachary Hubbard. We will put a link down. This is not me coming up with this stuff, okay? This guy breaks it down. And the thing about gematria, though, is you can look for yourself. You can write it out. You can write out these ciphers, add it up yourself, and see how words code into numbers. Now, here's the other thing. You can do it yourself. It takes a long time. There's a website, www.gematrinator.com, and it literally, you could just put it any word. It does it for you. It's very fast. So these are the 4 ciphers that he uses. Go ahead.
Can I ask you, isn't it weird how the first infinity is known as Aleph and the second infinity is known as Beth?
No, it's not weird. Everything's by design. So anyways, so the second, so those are 2 ciphers right there, alphabetical, reverse alphabetical. The other cipher is the rules of numerology, where you go, there's no double digits.
Those are countable infinities, by the way.
There's no double digits, so A through 9, which is I, the letter I would be 9. When you get to J, that's supposed to be 10. Since there's no double digits, you just add 1 plus 0, so that becomes 1. And then you go so on. So basically, it's like 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9, and then like 1, 2. So, and then there's a reverse code of that. Now, we're going to get into this. Gematria.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. Look this up for yourself, right? Whatever this means for you is whatever it means. But the numbers still add up. These words still equate to the same thing. So, gematria equals 38. Killing equals 38. Murder equals 38. Death equals 38. RIP equals 38. The Pro Bowl equals 38. Don't put the in or you won't get 38. Pro Bowl equals 38. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Kobe Bryant right now.
The Pro Bowl and Kobe Bryant? How does that make
Pro
any
Bowl
sense?
Equals 38. Now, here's the other thing. Slipknot, the band, has a song called Gematria, the Killing Name. They had a bassist named Paul Gray. Paul Gray, his name equals 38. Guess how old Paul Gray was when he died? Take one guess.
62?
He was 38. This is all nonsense, right? This is all a coincidence.
No,
there's a movie with Sandra Bullock. Oh, and I think her name equals 83. But anyways, there's a movie called Murder by Numbers, right? Where in Murder, in the poster, the E is a 3, and then it says by numbers, and the B is an 8.
An 8.
38. There's a song by the Police called Murder by Numbers, and it's literally about the elite killing people and this whole gematria thing. So Now that we know what 38 has, all these connections to death
elite
and
have
murder
always
and all
killed
that.
people. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Before you go on there,
Go ahead.
The elite have always killed people. It's not like it's a surprise. Like the United States, turned Central American countries into banana republics just to grow bananas cheaply, and now bananas are going to go extinct because they're all the same banana.
Don't yell. Yeah, the elite have always been killing, of course, but now we're seeing that they've been doing it by a code of numbers. Okay, so
Go ahead.
38 is the word for killing, murder, death, RIP, and Pro Bowl. Just coincidence. So the number
Why do you
33.
keep saying the Pro Bowl?
I will get to it. Sunday codes to 33. That's the day that Kobe Bryant died.
What if you say Sunday? How much does that add to?
99. You goof. Grammys equals 33. Kobe equals 33. Corona, by the way, equals 33.
What?
If you saw the score of the Pro Bowl that day, now I'm talking about the Pro Bowl, it was 33-38.
What?
Literally codes to Kobe death. Moving on.
Did you hear what just happened?
Also
he just
flu
proved-
germs. Also flu germs equals 38 and thick fog equals 38.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's get into Kobe Bryant a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
By the way, if I did some of this on the other podcast, I'm doing it again. I'm going through it fast. Sorry, bear with me.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
Kobe Bryant equals 113. He was round 1, the 13th pick. That's 113.
Mm-hmm.
He made his NBA debut on November 3rd. That's 113. The National Basketball Association codes to
November
113.
3rd is 113?
Uh-huh.
November 3rd is 113.
11-3?
11-13. Yeah, what?
I said 11-3.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
The National Basketball Association codes to 113. He's very much compared to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan equals 113. Now let's talk about 41. Kobe Bryant also codes to 41. He was 41 when he died. LA codes to 41 and 13. 41 is the 13th prime number. He was 41. His daughter was 13. Alicia Keys gave him a ode or something like that at the Grammys. Alicia Keys equals 41. When you look at when he scored his last field goal
Field goal?
in his last game ever,
He was a kicker?
when you score a basket
I know
in
what you-
basketball, it's called a field goal.
All right.
He scored on someone wearing a 41 jersey. In that same game, when he walked off the court, there was 4.1 seconds on the clock. That's 41.
What?
We also know about that whole crazy stuff with all the helicopters crashing around him on the Cartoon Network show.
Yeah,
He
I
crashed
actually
and
saw that.
blew up in a helicopter. Then he had the Black Mamba little mini movie with Men's Health and Nike. Remember that? Where he throws the basketball, turns into a bomb at Kanye West on a helicopter, and then that helicopter blows up. Okay, so when he's about to throw the ball, so the ball becomes a ticking time bomb.
Sure.
The last number on the thing is 4.1, 41. He throws it at the helicopter, and that blows up. There's a poster of it where he's standing there, and right to his right shoulder, a helicopter is exploding. How many helicopters do we need to explode?
Well, so
I mean, we get
You're
it.
talking about 41. So there's.
I'm not done with 41, so hold on. Hold your thought. His chopper left off at 9:06, crashed at 9:45, but the 911 call came in at 9:47. That's 41. The pilot was named Ara Zoboyan. His name codes to 41. Also, his initials A and Z. A equals 1 plus 26, and Z equals 1 plus 26. That's literally the day, January 26th, when he passed. Now go ahead if you want to say something.
You're crazy. But there's okay.
It's
so
not whether I'm crazy or
there's
not. These numbers are all
listen,
adding up.
So there's 1 to 0. Okay, so 10. 10, we're going to 99, right? So it can be either 10 through 99, right? There can be how
What are
many
you
different-
talking about?
How many different? So there's like 100 possibilities for this. a chance of
what are
1
you
in
talking
100
about?
because for two numbers to come up constantly, right? So there's like
Why are you saying 1 through 100 or 99?
because it can be 4 or 7, it can be 2 or 8, it can be, so there's like 100, there's like 99 chances. So it can be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, all the way to 99.
chances of what? Where are you getting that from?
That's how many numbers have 2 digits.
No, but I'm saying this code only goes to 1 through 26 and reverse.
Yeah, but you're saying 41 constantly, 41.
No, but if you look at when you type
how
in,
does it, if you go to 26, how do you get in 41?
when you type in the words or do it yourself, these words, Kobe Bryant, will equal 41.
But I thought it was only goes up to 26. Yeah,
There's 4
I'm being
ciphers.
Stubbornly.
But like I don't understand why you're saying 99.
Because that's how many numbers have 2 digits.
Okay.
0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, all
The
the way to
2-digit
99.
thing doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Because
For
there's
who?
Because
I just
there's
said 113 earlier.
Chances. There's 99 chances for there
I
to
said
be
his
a
name
two-digit
equates to
number.
113.
There's 99 chances for it to be a two-digit number. So there's a lot of 2-digit numbers that can be 41.
That
or
has nothing to
62
do
or
with anything.
83 or whatever.
That has nothing to do with
I'm sure you
anything.
can find plenty of 2-digit numbers.
So anyways, the pilot, his first letter A
Just ignore
and
me.
his last initial Z, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Equals 1 and 26 and 1 and 26. Okay, Gianna Bryant, that was the poor girl who passed. Her name codes to 126. That's over 99. Her name codes to 126 and 54. Trae Young, who somehow I guess was her favorite basketball player, at least that's what he was saying on that day. His name also codes to 126 and also 45. Now, she passed away on January 26th.
You sound like a crazy man coming up with these numbers that, like, you remember that movie
I know that
with
I
John
don't sound
Kerry,
like that.
with John Kerry or Jim Carrey, where he sees this one number everywhere and it's like, oh my God, this is some kind of a thing. And he's like, whoa, and he's so obsessed with it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can literally just look this up yourself.
Okay.
So it's not. I'm not making this up.
No, I'm not. Saying, no one says
This
you're
isn't
making
like,
it up.
oh, look, and then you write that. No, just look it up for yourself. You decide, whatever the hell it means.
Yeah, you decide based on this particular number system whether it makes sense. But you can come up with your own numbering system too.
Oh, there's many ciphers, but these are the 4 main ciphers that are used by this particular person, Zachary Hubbard. Anyways, so Trae Young, his name codes to 126, and he dedicated his game to Gianna Bryant, whose name codes to 126. Trae Young's name also codes to 45. He scored 45 points that game. Gianna Bryant's name also codes to 54. So if you look at 54 and 45, on those 4 ciphers, 3 out of the 4, they're a perfect match. Okay, cool. Kobe Bean Bryant. His name also codes to 54 and also 81. By the way, Chopper codes to 81. On January 22nd, Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. Remember that? The rest of the team scored 41 points. There's your 41 again, for a total of 122 points on January 22nd. Man, that's crazy. It's all just a coincidence. And getting back to the coronavirus, so this event 201 thing happened on the 18th of October, 2019. That leaves 74 days left in the year. Coronavirus equals 74. Bill and Melinda Gates equals 74. Masonic equals 74. Killing 74. Occult 74. English 74. Gematria 74. Dean Koontz, who we talked about earlier, he's 74 years old. But he had that book, The Eyes of Darkness. So what I'm trying to say is this is all just, coincidental. And, hey, man, nothing to it, right? Nothing to it. So go and look at Zachary Hubbard's work. Again, we'll put the link down. And he's got a ton of stuff. By the way, this one I'm talking about, I'm not even scratching the surface. He's got a crap load of stuff, not just about Kobe and Corona. This is most major stories in the media. So check it out. And Yeah. Make what you will of it.
All right. I very recently, if you don't mind me moving on.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
So nothing, right? Nothing from you?
Not at all. All right. So let me go on to
He needs a
story.
Mack truck to run him over
let me go
until he realizes something strange is going on. Go ahead.
All right. Let me talk about something that I think I brought up in a previous podcast, but there is a theory that since our solar system goes around our particular galaxy in a certain way, that there are more, foreign objects in certain regions, there's more dust in certain regions, and there is more of a chance for cataclysmic events to happen, depending on where our solar system is in our galaxy. And there is a theory put forth by scholars who are not fools. These people, study the ancient record. They're anthropologists, they're paleontologists. They have a pretty good knowledge of the past, and they say that there is a good chance that there were cataclysmic events in the past that have wiped out fairly advanced civilizations. I recently watched a program. Most of it might be, nonsense, but some of it, there is a possibility for truth there. There are creatures called Denisovans who lived in what is now northern Russia. They lived where, in the Siberia, the region of Russia known as Siberia, when it was a little bit warmer. There's possibility of Antarctica when it was in an area where it was a lot warmer and the earth was a lot warmer, that there were civilizations there. Because of the density of ice that exists there now, we can't do any real excavating, but recently we have the technology, and because of the melt that's happening in Antarctica, we're able to look at the underlying structure, and there's a lot of people there who are saying that it's a possibility that there might be ancient civilizations that lived in that area, or lived in northern Russia, or the Neanderthals, that they may have been much more advanced. There's a theory that says that these people were very basic. They didn't have much culture. They just survived. But they found artifacts related to art, that jewelry. This is something that you really have to focus on. You have to think about well, okay, I'm going to decorate myself with this, and it's going to take
How long
time.
ago did they say?
Hundreds of thousands of years, when our civilization, perhaps, the oldest is 16,000 years old. So they're saying that nothing before 20,000 years.
It.
No, this is way 100,000 years ago. There may have been intelligent beings. They found these weird skulls. I'm not saying these are real, but these enlarged skulls of these beings, and they had light hair, and they were in the areas of South America where apparently only people who came over the land bridge of between
Russia
Alaska,
and Alaska.
yeah, and Russia and Alaska, and all those people have certain haplogroups.
Was it cold back then?
There were cold times and there were warm times, and that was a thing that I think people don't realize, that there has been a fluctuation in the temperature.
But that was still very close to the North Pole, yes?
But you have to understand that the variation of temperature was huge because of how much carbon was in the atmosphere at that point. That you could have an Earth that was virtually tropical all the way up to Antarctica or wherever it was, because of how much greenhouse gases you had. And these were natural occurrences. I'm not talking about people putting, whatever. I'm talking about very natural occurrences where it comes out of volcanoes, it comes out of the earth, it comes out, and there were significant changes. what I think people don't really realize, because we live very short lifespans, is the amount of change that has happened on this planet. And I think that, I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm not saying that any of this is concrete, but there can be an argument made that in the past,
anything's possible, right?
In the past, that there were very advanced people, and they may have gotten wiped out, and they may have not left like the kind of ruins that we find. But we only find ruins like 16,000 years back. That's like the furthest we find, because they were making stuff from natural natural things, rocks and stones.
So maybe they had some knowledge.
Maybe they had a lot more knowledge that we don't have. Maybe they had. Maybe they knew things. They knew they had a certain. There are these points. I'm going to go off topic for just 1 second. There are these points that have been come up with by this. I forgot if he's a theoretical physicist or whatever, but there are these X points where the magnetic flow of the magnetic radiation from the sun and the magnetosphere of the earth, if you put something in this point, it like zooms over, it like virtually teleports to the sun, because there is no friction there. It's the way that the magnetosphere and the between the sun and the earth, the way it's set up, there's no friction. So these things virtually like fly from the earth over to, and these are real things, these X points. There is a lot of knowledge that I'm sure that we as human beings still don't have. And there are a lot of things, before you say anything, there are a lot of things that I think that I will humbly, and respectfully say, I don't know about your number or whatever. I don't believe that stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that I will agree with that I don't know. And I think that a lot of people who think that they have explanations for things greater than themselves, they sometimes need to be a little bit more humble and appreciate that, we really don't know the majority of things.
We don't.
The more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. That's one of Socrates', most important sayings. The more that you know, the ignorance that has yet to come is much greater than the knowledge that you have.
So basically, you're talking about these guys. They have these theories, right?
Certainly.
But they back it up, and it makes sense.
Some of them make sense. Some of them back it up.
But you're willing to go there. So like, you see how they've demonized conspiracy theory, where it's like just hearing that word, you're like, oh boy, and you want to roll your eyes. But then when you talk about the Big Bang theory or like any of these other theories, like, oh yeah, that's all good. Yeah, that can make sense.
No, but
just
you
hearing
need
conspiracy
proof.
theory,
You need proof.
I could tell you a million things, dude. And I have told you
but that's
crap
not
load
proof.
of things.
Through two numbers being the same is not proof.
Okay, but
in the same
you
way
have,
that if you put an
but you
antenna,
don't have proof either. You still have a theory. You still have a theory.
In the same way that you put up a radio antenna into space and you will get noise from the Big Bang.
You literally just said this was a theory.
Do you know what a theory is?
I think that we all do, yeah.
No, not everybody knows what a theory is.
Okay, I know what a theory is.
A theory is essentially the best possible explanation for something, okay?
Yeah.
That at the time can be proven with every fact, and it cannot be debunked at that point in time.
But it can't fully be proven.
Nothing can fully be proven.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, but things like, let's say, light or magnetism or electricity, these things are theories, okay? Mm-hmm. But they work. They actually, with the numbers you provided for me, what do they do? What do they explain? What can you build? What can you right now take these numbers and build?
if you look at them and you start to see how things are connected, and that to me, basically, it's kind of showing that these events that happen, these major events, they're not happening naturally. There's a script that's going on.
Well, what's the next major event that's going to happen that you can predict from that?
Okay, so you can actually go by the numbers and look into all that, and people use it for gambling to win money. Okay, I don't roll so hardcore as that. But what I do is when I'm presented with information that just makes sense.
Well, what's the next great prediction that's made by those numbers? What's the next thing
I don't know,
that's
because
going to happen?
that's not my thing. Okay, I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just seeing what what's happened, and then you see all these connections with all these numbers, and it's very strange, and you'd have to be, kind of like you, I guess,
stubborn
to not see that there's a goddamn connection there.
Okay.
So, whatever you can use that for is what you can use it for. That's what I'm trying to say.
Let's go on to the next topic, because I have to admit that I just looked into the. Okay, go
hold
ahead.
on before you go. The last thing I want to say is that I agree with you. There is, I think 100% there was technology they were using way back in the day that we have no idea what they were doing. If you look at the. Damn it, I forget what they're called, but they're those. They carved them out of rock in India, like in BC, like 200 BC or whatever the hell. You know what I'm talking about? No. There's entire stone cities that they've carved out of rock. Nobody knows how they did it, but there's like 29 of them. There's a whole bunch of them. So what were they doing? What did they know? They knew something, and somehow that got lost. So.
All right. Hey,
I agree with you, but I hate you too at the same time.
Okay, let's go on to topic number. I guess it's 3, but this I will admit, this Lori Vallow situation, very strange. I
told you.
I won't totally agree with you that whatever, but
what do you mean?
It's
just
very
the information.
Weird. And the fact that Spielberg's daughter is involved in pornography. This girl who could literally, I understand, but there's a connection between this craziness of these people and, Steven Spielberg's daughter. She has everything she could possibly want. She has all the money she could possibly want.
Michaela.
And yet she is involved in pornography. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. No, there's nothing wrong with having sex. And if you want to have sex, and if you want people to see it, and you want to get paid
if
for it. If
that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, nobody cares. But, it seems like a strange outlet for this girl, unless, as you have said, that there was possibly some grooming, molestation stuff.
I didn't say it.
You said it. You're the one who's claiming it. I heard you go out on the news, and you're like...
You could literally pull up the video right now. She said in an interview that growing up, she was groomed and molested.
Growing up Spielberg. Yeah,
dude. She was groomed, her words, and molested by someone, not her dad. Mm-hmm. By the way, she's adopted. Let's get that clear.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you didn't know?
So he saw it as free game. I'm just kidding, Steve.
Now, we're going to say that Steven Spielberg has had his fair share of accusations.
I love you, Steven. I don't care what this guy says.
Hey, Steven, I don't like you. I guess I'll never work in Hollywood.
No, but I'll be in the next Indiana Jones, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, you will. And you'll co-sign on all of his fucking bullshit.
I'll sign away.
All right, can't swear. And so she said, I was groomed and molested by someone, not my dad or not anybody that, he would know or that he knew. So, where were you? Who was grooming you and molesting you when you're the daughter of the most, powerful dude in Hollywood?
But can I say one thing before you go on? Steven Spielberg made a lot of movies for children, and he had a lot of contact with people.
Almost every movie of his has kids in it.
Who were agents of children and who were, involved with casting children. So these
dude
people,
in E.T. he had little fucking Elliot running around in his goddamn underwears.
So here's the thing: people in Hollywood are not all virtuous, wonderful people who want to just entertain us and just no. It's a business. It is show business. It's about money, and it also about sex. Like everything else in this universe, it is about sex and power. And these people in this industry have a lot of power, especially over these children. And people like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim have talked about how there are pedophiles who have specific jobs in the industry of casting children, dealing with children. I would be very, very wary of anybody who has that kind of position where they are with this child for an extended period of time alone, casting the casting couch. That's a thing because it is a reality.
Dude, how as a parent do you just leave your kid? You just drop them off and you're like,
do.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you see that movie? Didn't you see that movie with what's his name? Sacha Baron Cohen, when he was that whatchamacallit character, the Bruno, and he was asking, "Oh, is it all right if your child is riding as a Jew or as a Nazi?"
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a little Nazi. And they're like, "Oh yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
He loves it.
Does he love phosphorus? Yeah, he's fine with phosphorus.
He can bear it through his eyesight."
Do you need a seatbelt? No, he's freewheeling.
So 2 things. Number 1. By the way, the Corey Feldman.
I was freewheeling. Before you go on, when I was a little kid, I used to sit on that armrest in the front of the car. The armrest between when
they allowed you to sit there.
I sat on that armrest when I was like 5 years old, just like sitting there, no seatbelt, just like, whoa, man, we're cruising. Any second we hit anything, I was through that windshield.
Yeah. Everybody's going to jail these days. Everybody's going to jail, including you.
Yeah.
So
for doing it as a 5-year-old.
So Corey Feldman's pedo documentary is dropping very soon.
I want to see that.
I'm going to watch it, and I will take notes because we will talk about it. Second of all, look at the Growing Pains. DiCaprio's on Growing Pains, and he's literally surrounded by pedophiles. The main producer, the main showrunner of Growing Pains, had to stop the show because he was a convicted pedophile. He got caught up, right? This is Hollywood. This is what they do.
All creepy.
And if you look at, like you were saying, how Steven Spielberg has kids and all of his friggin' movies, look at Drew Barrymore and what happened to her. She was all jacked up. And she was on The Tonight Show. I just saw this clip the other day where she's like, I love you, Steven, and he gives me tickles. Like, all this weird shit, dude. All this weird shit. And look up the story, what happened to Heather O'Rourke, the girl from Poltergeist, who Steven Spielberg found in like a mall. It's the most disgusting thing that you could possibly imagine. Yeah, Michaela Spielberg, his adopted daughter, says she was molested and groomed and all that stuff. And then I guess at first he was cool with her being a porn star. Then he was like, I don't think that I like that. And then she got, by the way, she's 23 and she's dating a 47-year-old white man. Daddy issues. And then she got popped off for domestic violence. And I don't know if it was while she was in jail or right before. All her social media has been wiped out. Wow. So we're going to keep an eye on Michaela, see what's going on there. But, yeah, Lori Vallow, dude. Mm-hmm. Lori Vallow. What do you think about that?
So I think it's very strange.
So Lori Vallow is this lady who lived in Iowa, Ohio.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Somewhere where there's a lot of corn, and she was like the sweetheart of the city. She all was her like family was like she was the most sane, person, and a sweetheart and all this stuff. And then she got divorced from her husband, and she met this dude. And this guy, the guy who she met, was writing science fiction novels about alien shit.
Well, yeah, he got her into some crazy.
Yeah, he got her into some cult stuff. Some cult stuff, and then she got it in her head that she was like some kind of god, right? So then her brother kills her husband, shoots him to death, says it's self-defense. Then her brother mysteriously dies. Then the new guy she's with, his wife mysteriously dies. Then they get married 2 weeks later. People thought that was suspicious. And now her kids are nowhere to be found. She's got a 7-year-old and a 17-year-old just gone. And they're like, hey, just bring the kids, man. Just bring them somewhere. And she's like,
yeah, just produce the children.
They're there. They're around, but just trust me. She's like, just trust me. And literally, no one has seen these kids. No one knows where they're at. She's arrested. She got like a $5 million bail or something like that. Just where are the kids?
It's a weird story.
Yeah, it's a very strange story. Check that out because.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you updated. If that goes anywhere, we'll.
Oh, it's gonna go somewhere.
Can I tell you something? I was watching a documentary. I was watching a documentary about an artist who I have to admit, it really intrigues me. His name is Francis Bacon. He has a lot of paintings of very visceral, very just like pain, people screaming, meat, slabs of meat, and people in contorted forms, cut up, like torn up, and it's just very
Do you know around
and violent.
The period that he was painting?
The 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay.
And this was right after the war. He was, I forgot where he was from. I think it was British, but he was brought up in Ireland. He was brought up to be very Irish, except he was a homosexual. He was gay. He knew he was gay from an early age, and his father just hated that. And he had him beaten, just like beaten, like relentlessly, like whipped in the stable, like literally whipped. And unfortunately, he later developed a desire for this violence sexually.
Sadomasochistic.
He was sadomasochistic. He like was sexually attracted to his father in the way that his father was this dominant form over him, and he developed this sexual a desire for like men who like had this power over him and would like beat him, hit him, just like inflict pain upon him. And you can see this violence in his art. And he's basically self-taught. He had like some drawing lessons. He had a few lessons, but most of it's self-taught, and it's genius. And I mean, I look at these, I look at the forms, I look at the composition on the page. It's just amazing. But it comes from alcoholism, from violence. He had a boyfriend who like beat the hell out of him. They would like,
but he wanted that, no?
Fights. Yeah, he want that. He'd like beat the hell out of him, punched him, threw him through a glass window, broke his ribs. And when they were like, "Hey, do something about it," he's like, "No." He wanted this.
He was cool with it.
And I guess that some of the pain came through in the art, and he had a lot of friends. He had a lot of female friends who he would paint and this and that, and he would, he searched for connection because he felt deserted by his own family, I think. The way his father like kicked him out because he was gay or whatever, and then just later on, he was searching for something that I think he never found, and you can see that in his art.
It's very tortured looking.
These are the paintings in that movie Batman where, the Joker's about to, or somebody's about to slice the painting.
The 1989 Batman.
And the Joker stops him for Jack Nicholson from slashing the painting. It's one of Francis Bacon's paintings. He has paintings of people screaming, people. It's very tortured, and it's very visceral. And there's a picture of, I think it's like a gorilla man looking into, or there's a picture of a parasol, of a umbrella, and it looks demonish, devilish. It's the way he painted, and the skill with which he painted is surprising. That he was, completely self-taught. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I watched this documentary, and it was excellent, and it was something I was totally just.
This is what we do.
Yeah, I was.
We find something cool or interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Not that that's cool. That his whole tortured life.
No, it's
but interesting.
cool, but
of course, we talk about it. How do you pass?
I don't know how he passed, but like half the people around him like died from like alcoholism or heart attacks, and like, you know, it really screwed up like, you know, relationship with people. Like I said, his boyfriends, half of them just like beat his ass. Just like there's the thing I wanted to say. So, you know, he was talking to this one guy. He's like, well, what are you going to do with me? He's like, I'm going to tie you up in a room and I'm going to chain you to the wall. And he's like, but I want to paint. He was like okay with like being tied naked to like a wall and just like chained there as a sex slave.
But figure out a way
to be able to still paint.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically, guys, raise your kids right.
Yeah, be nice to your kids.
Listen,
for the love of God.
This is the more you know moment.
Yeah. The more you
Be nice to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't beat them. Don't shame them for who they are. Mm-hmm. Right? Love them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, love them unconditionally. Jesus Christ. I wish Steven Spielberg would have done that.
I wish he would have. All right.
By the way, Corey Feldman better drop some names.
Yeah, he better.
You know, there's two names I'm looking for, right?
Who's that? Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder?
No. Obviously, Steven Spielberg.
Uh-huh.
Who's the other guy?
I don't know.
Come on. Who's the one person that everyone loves in Hollywood?
Tom Hanks?
That I hate.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
I don't know why you hate Tom Hanks so much.
Because he's evil. And I'm going to tell you this. He already has allegations against him, but nothing's come of it. Nobody even reports on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you, but it is rough. It is rough. All right. Which would you rather? All right, let's do a.
Oh yeah, for you new viewers. This is our segment that we always end on. Also, I forgot to say this right at the beginning. We've been saying in the first 12 episodes of this thing, like, hey, just click it. Don't even watch it. Like, just put it on. Give us a view.
Yeah,
give
just
us a like.
Give us
a sub.
Let it in the background. Just let it
what?
go in the background.
You know what
you don't got to listen
now?
to it.
You know what I'm going to say now? Watch the whole thing.
Don't watch any of it. Just put it on.
No,
leave it in the background. Give us a like. Let the view happen.
We're upgrading. So now watch it. Watch the whole thing. It's going to be good the whole way through. Yeah, stay tuned, man. Just stay with us. Go ahead. Would you rather?
The which would you rather, I have to admit, it came from the Francis Bacon thing. So which would you rather? Would you rather be a famous artist who had the life of Bacon, where he got his ass beat all the time, and then later developed a sexual lust for this, and he just like was constantly punished,
sex
violence and into like depression, and constantly an alcoholic and just messed up, and his only relation was his nanny, who like set up poker parties for him, a blind nanny who set up poker parties for him. That was the way he made money before he like, you know, was doing the art. Or would you rather be just a nobody with a super duper loving family who is just happy as all hell, but you would fade away from memory that fast after you were dead? That fast.
Come on, man. Super duper loving family.
Yeah, I don't think there are people though who would choose. There are people though who would choose the other one.
So what you're saying is like, would you choose like fame? But you got to go through all this.
You got to go through all this horrible torment,
and
like just evil, just.
But you're going to be remembered forever.
You're going to be remembered, not just remembered, but remembered as a genius.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As somebody who like really changed.
Revered.
Yeah, but someone who changed like art or changed whatever, theater or music or whatever it is. You changed it for like the whole genre.
And everyone will remember you.
Everyone will remember you.
I mean, we're literally talking about this dude right now.
Yeah.
Give me the
loving family.
Yeah.
Right? I got to go with the loving family,
Give me
too.
The loving family.
Because who cares who remembers you after you're dead? Really? Who the hell cares? If the only thing that I care is from the moment of birth to the moment of death. At the moment of death, sorry, you're all gone. I don't care about the rest of you. You're all going to vanish. But in the time that I exist, I want the people around me to love me and be as happy as possible.
Yeah, I just don't want to go. I don't want to go through the pain. Having the fame and all that's not worth it.
I mean, the paintings are great. I love the paintings. They're fantastic. But your life is messed up, brah.
You're chaining you to a wall, dude.
Yeah. Your ass asking for to be chained to a wall. That was your please, he's in Berlin, pooping and peeing on people, getting punched in the scrotum sack.
All right.
And
let's not.
It's true. Let's wrap this one up.
Well, guys,
unbelievable.
Thanks for tuning in.
No, but this was fun. This
is fun, and guys, like I said, it's going to keep getting better. We're going to keep upgrading, and it's all because of you guys. We appreciate it so much.
Truly. I think people don't believe that, whoever's watching the couple hundred people that watch, we really do want you to know that
every single one of you,
we appreciate every view. We appreciate every comment.
And I read every comment.
I want you to comment more. Please comment so much that you can't comment no more. You guys are horrible. You suck. I hate you. I'm going to come and I'm going to murder you. I don't care what it is. As long as it's down there and it's change the show. Get different hosts. That guy in the blue shirt, he's stupid.
He's terrible.
He doesn't understand. He's got a weird voice. He sounds all high.
It's very nasally.
Yeah, he's nasally. But say it. We really do respect everything that you say.
Absolutely.
And we really want you to follow us, not because, necessarily we want views, but because we want you to have a conversation with us. That's why when people leave us comments and based on the things we said, that is the best feeling of all. For me,
fantastic. No, I love it.
When you leave a comment and say, "Hey, I was interested in this," or "I think this about this," or "You're stupid," "I hate the guy in the black shirt."
No one does. Maybe someone does. I don't know. But for me, it's very trippy to see a comment where it was some person that I have no idea who the fuck you are.
Why did you do that? 1 hour in.
I slipped.
Hour in. You blew it.
I slipped a couple of swear words in. But I did better than ever, though.
We can't curse.
We won't. But in any event, it's very awesome to see somebody who just comments and just responds well to the show, and we love it. And literally, for you guys, we're gonna keep it going, keep it growing.
Yeah,
know
keep it
what I'm
growing
saying?
and keep it going, keep it growing and keep it going. It's gonna be our theme song. All right.
No, we're going to work on that.
Have a good one. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next week.